Hi. This is Granny Rocks. And who is speaking to you is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks. And the person sitting in my lap, of course, is Charlie Green, the dog that we adopted last week. And he's going to be playing the piano tonight. So
That's one talented dog.
he might hit some bloopers because this is not easy to play the piano with a dog on your lap, especially since he doesn't have anything really stable to sit on. But anyway, we just thought it was fun because he wanted to get in my lap at the last minute. And this here over here is
James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James, and I'm happy to see you joining us. I'm handling the chat tonight, so please chat with us, and I'll pass it on over to Beth.
yes, and it
And
looks
then
like we are on
she
our
can
way.
chat with you live in person.
Yeah, that's great. So, my topic tonight, interestingly enough, is love, and it's about love is the healing power. So, what does that mean? Love is the healing power. Where did I get that from? I'm going to give you the whole phrase. Is it true? And I'm not really sure that I have answers to any of these questions, but I do see that.
We do have a hello from Elizabeth.
Hello, Elizabeth. It is so good to see you.
Yes. Hello,
So,
hello.
so people always say that if you have an ad with a puppy in it or something, that it's going to do much better. So maybe millions of people will come because they'll see.
Oh, it'll go viral. A piano playing doggy.
Oh, absolutely. So this guy, as of last night, we've changed his name to Charlie. We've had him for a little over a week. So, and it looks like we have another hi.
Oh, and Todd says hi there and sends a big smile. Hello, Todd. Glad to
Hello,
have you with us.
Todd. Hello, Todd. So here it is. So anyway, I am really going to attempt. Uh-oh, it looks like he's about to leave. No, he's looking for a more stable place. So I have to have my knee up in the air on top of everything. Look, somebody else
Oh,
is saying.
Tracy says, love to see you.
Oh, thank
Sends
you.
a heart of love.
On the
Love to
topic
see
of
you
love,
too.
you know, maybe if you could get me one of those green flat cushions and I could put him on my
Okay,
lap and he
I'll-
wouldn't fall
I'll
through.
see what I can
So
do.
could you do that while I'm doing this?
Sure.
So I want to tell you about this phrase, love is the healing power. Not that it is such an unusual idea, but I really want to talk about it in a little more depth because in 1980, I had what could only be called a psychic awakening or an intuitive awakening, where all of a sudden I started hearing the inner voice. Oh, it looks like Amy is speaking. Hi, you two cuties. Excuse me. 3 cuties. My parents' first pet a cat was named Charlie, too, back in the early 1950s. So, okay, now let's see. Oh, my God. He weighs like
A ton.
Okay. Here, see what I mean? I think this is going to work better. But maybe not, because this might slide off my lap. So you mess with my lap, and I'm going to talk about, the topic. So one of the first messages I got from this inner voice that was talking to me that really
Amy says, that's right. 3 cuties.
all right, plus you, that
Thank
would
you.
make the
Thank
fourth
you,
cutie.
Amy. Yeah, you're the 4th.
The fourth. So anyway, I started to have this inner guidance. I call it intuition. Some people call it psychic power. Some people call it channeling, whatever it is. I started hearing this inner guidance. And one of the very first messages that I got, which was like clear sentences, was love is the healing power.
Oh.
To the degree that you love yourself, God, and others, to that degree you will be healed.
Wow.
So now, by God, don't get hung up like, oh, it's religious, it's an old man in the sky, it's whatever it is you want to call God. But it's like, I think of God as the whole, the oneness,
The
the
totality.
universe, the
Yeah.
totality. Sometimes it feels like wisdom. Then that's when I'm listening and I think, oh, that's really wise. Yes, I must have gotten that from somebody else. So anyway, so I get this message, and so I think, piece of cake, loving myself, God, and others. Piece of cake, right? I'm going to be healed right away. Now, to me, in those days, and by the way, I don't know what I'm going to say tonight. Um, Look at this. He's just just sitting here.
Mm.
Um, I thought that meant that my body was going to get healed and I was going to become healthy. That would have been nice, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
anyway,
you've been chronically ill pretty much your whole life.
I have. I have been chronically ill pretty much all my life. I think I actually was born with a hereditary condition and I was ill as a child, but I got like super ill when I was 15. And then my life has been kind of like really, really difficult ever since on the physical plane. And then everybody's life is miserable on every other plane. So I had that too, of course. But anyway, I thought, oh, I'm going to get healed. I'm going to get healed. So I'm going to be well. Well, it hasn't worked out exactly like that. So I want to start out by talking about what is healing. Because how can we talk about love being the healing power? We don't know what healing is. But I'm not sure that I know either. Because, on the one hand, you think of healing as like something knitting together, like a bone, which is broken, right? And it knits together, and that is healing. Your skin heals when it comes together. So there's this idea that somehow we can heal, we can come back together maybe the way we were before we had the accident or the illness or the divorce or the child's death or the war or the bombs or whatever. So, but in my experience, it isn't really exactly like that. I mean, you can come together, but maybe not exactly the way you were. And what you hope for, at least I do, is that I may not get back exactly what I had, but I have something else that I didn't have before. Like wisdom, more love, understanding,
Feeling more whole.
feeling more whole, feeling more connected. So maybe the body that I'm still dragging around all these years, 42 years later, is pretty much the same body. Although in some ways I am better, in some ways I'm worse, right? I've broken, a bunch of vertebrae and bones and all that. Oh, and we have another friend.
Oh, Nick says, hello, nice people.
Hello,
Enthusiastic.
Nick.
Hello,
Hello, Nick.
Nick.
So good to see you. It's not just people's tonight, as you can see. So, Nick, this is part of my healing, is having this. So speaking
Pet
of
therapy.
pet therapy, so I lost a dog.
Oh, Todd says, loving this message.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. And I'm just getting started. Uh, I'm channeling Charlie tonight. What would he say? So, healing can mean a lot of things. And if we have a preconception, oh, another friend.
Oh, Don says, good evening. Great topic.
Oh,
Sends a couple of hearts of love.
good evening,
Same back at you, Don.
Don. So great to see so many of our wonderful friends tonight. You see, I told you they would be coming because of the dog, right? I know it's not true because you didn't know he was going to be on. But anyway, um, my old 15-year-old dog died 2 years ago, and I cried and 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 cried. So now I have this dog, and I'm not crying and crying and crying. Now,
You're much happier.
yeah, much happier.
And Catalina sends hearts of love and melody notes, a keyboard, and pause.
Cute.
Thank you, Catalina. We love the pause particularly.
So it doesn't mean that we have the perfect dog who doesn't poop and pee in the house.
Hmm.
And it doesn't mean that he's obedient. And we haven't had him that long. And it doesn't mean that we always see eye to eye. But there is love. And and I can feel it. That's why I felt inspired to talk about this tonight. That love is the healing power because he can't bring back my dead dog, but he can repair my heart and let my heart come back together again. Even though I already had a loving hubby, it was not the same thing. Not for me. I mean, for you, it might be a goldfish or a child or, I don't know what it is for you that, that is so important to you that for some reason you can't explain. When I was a child, I always wanted a dog because my mother was very loving in her own way, but sort of cold, never touched me. Not the snuggly, kind of warm, fuzzy, sort of like a dog. So it's healing something deep in me. Now, so once we are able to start opening our minds to what is healing and start thinking about it, like what is going to heal our nation, for example. Well, certainly the process we're in now doesn't look very healing, does it?
No.
It looks kind of ugly. But how do we know, right? What's going to come out of this? Maybe the elimination of the human race and then the planet can get back to taking care of itself. I don't know. Maybe that's what healing is going to look like. But if we open our minds to what healing is and look for healing, we may find it. You know how we often don't see what's right in front of us because we are looking for something else. Oh, it must mean that my body is going to get all well, rather than that I'm going to be stronger on the inside, that I'm going to feel more connected to people, that I'm going to have more love in my life, that I'll have some wisdom, that I'll have some acceptance, that kind of thing. Or something else, and it may be something else for you. But now I want to get back to, okay, but so now what is love? We can't even, I don't even think I'm going to do this topic in one day. It's really too much. So what is love? Well, that is another really Lollapalooza question, right? And by the way, sometimes our bodies do get better. So, we can't eliminate that as a possibility. But okay, what is love? So one thing I do know absolutely for certain is that love is an energy. That I have no doubt about that, and I bet you know what I mean. It's like you just feel something. You feel something for something. You feel something from something. We have another one.
Oh, here we have a message. I'll need a
Galina.
moment to translate.
Yeah, okay. And let's see.
Galina says, I wish you a good and beautiful day, your dear lady and your family. She sends a couple of hearts of love. She sends applause, a couple of hands of applause, and a flower. Thank you very much and huge respect.
Oh,
Thank
very
you,
kind,
Galina.
So let's talk about love. So love is an energy. You feel it from others. It's like all of a sudden a warm blanket comes over you. If you're open. If you're not open, the love can be coming at you and you're just not open and you're just like, I don't feel anything. And the other thing, the other side of that is that energy that you feel towards other things. A lot of people hardened by life will feel love for a 5-pound dog, right? Or a baby or something, And that's something so important that we can still feel that. And that is the first way that I want to talk about love being healing. That when you love, something in you heals. When you are the one that loves. because something in you comes together that overcomes the terrible experiences that you've had, the disappointments that you've had, the misery that you've had, the exploitation that you've had. When you can feel love for anything, anybody, a plant, you know what I mean? Some people love gardens and love plants, love trees, love fish. I don't know. I've never really been able to get into fish because they don't cuddle much, but um, that's just my taste in love. So at that point, something is happening to you. Your heart is coming together in order to generate the energy of love towards and caring towards something else, and something happens to you. And so I would like to go back to my original statement, which I'll only be able to talk about in brief tonight. To the degree that you love yourself, God, and others, whatever God is, and I'll get to that degree you will be healed. There is something about just loving that can heal your heart. And there's also something about being loved that also can heal your heart. Because when you feel love and when you can let it in, guess what happens? You go into a deeper sense of relaxation. See, most of us are very tense all the time, and we're guarded, and what terrible thing's going to happen next. And terrible things do happen, and I can understand it. Oh, he played the piano. Oh,
He
that
did,
was
didn't he?
he did. Did you play the piano, Charlie? um, that warm blanket comes over you now. It's not only the warm blanket that you're putting out, but the warm blanket comes over you, and you just feel yourself relaxing. And there is something so healing.
Yeah, you can feel more safe and secure.
Yes,
More confident in moving forward in life.
that's right. That is right. And that is healing in and of itself, because you are losing that tension. And we have another comment.
Oh, Blanquita says hello, Beth and James.
Hello,
Yay.
Blanquita.
Hi,
And this is
Blanquita.
Charlie, too. So you can say hello to him also. He just wanted to get on my lap tonight, so he's only been here a little over a week. So, love is the healing power, just in that what it takes you to transmit that energy to others, and the relaxation you feel when you feel the safety of being loved, that somebody actually cares about you.
Relaxation and also more inner peace.
That's right, because you're not in that state of frantic self-defense.
Right.
And you see, that is so unhealing, so damaging, to be in constant state of self-defense. I don't trust you. I don't trust anything. And I'm not willing to take a chance on anything. Now let's take a look. Now that we've talked a little bit about what love is, I can also say what love isn't. Love isn't that you want something from somebody. Oh, I love you. I want your autograph. Can you please send me a one-way ticket to New York? Can you do this for me? Can you do that? I love you. It's like, that doesn't really feel like love. I mean, at that moment, it's like, do you even know that I exist? Do you know anything about me? Where do you get the idea that I have connections or money or the capacity to do anything? So it's kind of sad. It's sad, but people are desperate. I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying that doesn't feel like love. And I can say to my audience, oh, I love you, but what do I really mean? I really mean that I'm grateful that you tune in and make me feel important, because if you didn't tune in, I would feel like, oh no, desperate.
Not just important, but resonating with each other.
Oh yeah, so it makes me feel wonderful. But do you actually love me? Well, you may think you do. You may have a warm feeling towards me. Oh no.
Oh, what's that?
Karen.
Oh, Karen says, It's wonderful to see you. However, my internet connection is bad tonight,
Oh.
so missing most of this. We'll listen again. Much love, and she sends a heart of love.
Oh, thank you. And Karen is someone
God
who
bless you,
has
Karen.
definitely shown love to us, even though we are connected on Facebook. So, sometimes people say they love you, or you say you love them, and you don't really mean it. What you mean is you love what you can get from them. Okay.
Especially at Christmas time.
Ha ha ha. Okay, now let me try to quickly get to the degree I love myself, God, and others. To that degree, I will be healed. It should be easy to love ourselves, right? We certainly are self-centered enough, right? It's all about me, but that doesn't mean I love me. To love myself, I need to know myself, know what I'm loving, right? I need to be honest about who I am. I need to take care of my real self. I need to be willing to be myself. Right, James?
Yeah. Be willing to be myself.
Right. Put it out there. Just put it out there. This is who I am. One of the things that I do love about our audience and about our shows is that I just put it out there, who I am, what I feel. And those people who love the show or like the show, they are responding to who I am because I am putting out who I am. So that is really, really important. To love myself, I have to be willing to be myself. All the rest of it is ego nonsense, like, oh, I love the way I look in this outfit. Oh, I love the fact that I'm making so much money. I love my status in the world. I love this. I love that. I love, myself? What myself? I don't know who myself is, even, right? So it's not easy to love ourselves because we see our flaws and we feel weak. Now, let's talk about that for a second. Most of us have grown up in a dog eat dog. Don't say dog eat dog. No, cat eat
mouse.
cat, right, world. I mean, it is we live in a very tough world. So, and we don't love our weaknesses because our weaknesses make us vulnerable to being hurt. Now, let's say you go out there and you're an animal, you're a rabbit, and you are weak. You can run, but, you're kind of weak. And some big animal, predator, comes along and it sees you, and you're the rabbit, and you just lie down and say, here I am, eat me, I'm weak. Well, no, you don't want them to see. Or if you're injured, it's so sad. So many men grow up in an environment where they feel that they can't show their weaknesses because somebody is going to get them, kill them, compete with them. And who blames people for feeling that way? Because we've had so many experiences like that. Oh, a parent who is abusive to us because they can get away with it, because you're weak, physically weak, or you're dependent, or anything like that. So we become afraid to demonstrate how weak or vulnerable we are. So you begin to think that self-love has to do with hiding my weakness. I don't want anybody to know. That is a very painful way to live. I would rather take a chance. I really would rather take a chance. Within reason, right? If somebody writes to me on Facebook and says, "Drop dead, Granny, you suck," and that has happened to me many times. They don't like what I say, or they don't like what they think I'm going to say because they never listen to what I say. So I don't want to get vulnerable to them and say, "Oh, yes, I'm so damaged by you." So I get a little bit like, oh, self-defense, and I don't want to know that. But see, that carries over, and it carries over into our personal relationships and we become afraid to show anything. And then when we do have an opportunity to actually be real and show our vulnerability, we may be afraid. We can't even tell the difference. We are so defended. We can't tell the difference between a situation where I can be vulnerable and a
Mm-hmm.
situation where I can't. And then there is no self-love because there is only self-defense, and there is no feeling of warmth and safety. Do you understand what I mean?
Sure. Most of us go through life that way.
That is right. So I recommend that we look very carefully at every situation and ask ourselves, is this really that dangerous? You were picked on by other kids, especially if you were a guy, but women too, picked on. And so I don't want to show my vulnerability because somebody's going to kill me. But if I possibly can, I want to be real. So I took a chance on Charlie because my last dog did not love me. And I was scared to death to try another one. And it seems like it's working out, although I'll have to find out. But I love myself enough to take a chance on love because I know that I need it. And I'm willing to put it out there. And I'm willing to love myself for putting it out there. Saying, yes, this is who I am. This is what I really believe. So it's an act of self love to put it out there and be willing to take a chance. And we've had a lot of experiences like that if we let ourselves know it. So that's a very brief discussion of loving ourselves. And God, well, God is what is. Can I love what is? Global warming, meanness, anger, conspiracies, all kinds of stuff I think is pretty bad. You know, I don't love what is. I want peace and harmony. I'm willing to fight for that. So I could say, well, is God what is, or is God the potential of what could be? And do I love that potential enough that I'm going to fight for it? The oneness, the whole. I guess I'm going to have to end soon, so I just have to really fast forward. What about loving others? You know, people are mean, they're angry, they're sick. We are mean, angry, and sick. How am I supposed to love you when all you ever give me is grief and misery? Well, I'll tell you. I don't have to love your anger, and I don't have to love your grief, and I don't have to love your meanness. But I can love the person who is angry, and I can love the person who is giving me grief, because I can see underneath it that Blanquita said, beautiful dog. He sure is, and he's falling off. Honey, honey, please get him back on my lap, please. If I can just learn to take chances with me, to be willing to be vulnerable, to tell you who I truly am, and I am willing to always look for the highest potential, and if I am always willing to look beyond the meanness and the anger and the difficulties, if I am willing to do all of that, then maybe I'm getting the idea. Because
That you can truly love others for the essence of who they are.
that's right. Because I've been a counselor since 1980. And every time I meet somebody, no matter how mean and nasty they are, so far I've been able to love them because I see underneath all of that the damaged person who didn't get enough love or who was abused. And I can love that person because there is an automatic love that we feel, a compassion. Even as children, we can feel that. So I'm willing to be a complete idiot, go back to being a child, being naive, and giving us a chance. So I really need to close for tonight. But to the degree that I love myself, God, and others, which means I don't abuse myself anymore, that I take care of myself with others, and yet at the same time, I have compassion for others, and that I am willing to be in harmony with what is, always hoping for what is yet to come and the possibility, then there is something inside me that heals, and I become more capable of loving and of receiving the love that is coming towards me.
We're
So,
receiving bubbles of love from our listeners.
thank you for the bubbles. So I think that's all I can say for tonight, and maybe I'll pick this up another time. But I hope that you have been able to feel more love. We do this program every Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Time. And tomorrow night, which is Thursday, I play the piano. And who knows who's going to be in my lap. Maybe it'll be Sweet Baby James. And that's 7 o'clock Pacific Time. I will play Beth Green's Magical Piano Improvisations. And have faith and trust and connect to that highest good and believe in love and believe that people are capable of love. Not just me, but other people. So I think I'd better stop now because we have a group any minute now. I have enjoyed talking to you tonight, and I have enjoyed having Charlie with me and Sweet Baby James. And I can feel love, even to people, for people that I don't know, because I can feel the hurt that is in every one of us. And there is a caring which is spontaneous when we see hurt or we see vulnerability, just like we love the puppy who is so vulnerable, and we love the sick person we can.
Oh, and Blanquita sends a big heart of love. So thank you so much, Blanquita.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Yes,
Great
thank
to
you.
have you with us.
Please comment after the show if you're not watching live, because I will always respond to you. And so there it is. This is getting harder. And we have a good night from Don.
Oh, and Don says good night with many, many hearts of love. Same to you, Don. Back at you.
Bye-bye until next time, next Wednesday, 6:30 Pacific Time.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.